What's going on, everybody? C4 here. Welcome to today's video, which is going to be your one-stop shop preview for this upcoming weekend, which is the NFL Scouting Combine. Now, I know if you've been following my videos and you're just looking pretty much anywhere around the web that you're involved with football, you should know kind of the basis, the groundwork of what players are going to be attending the Combine, what players are good, what players are bad, what players are regarded as top 3, top 5, top 10, first round, second round talents, and everything in between. But I'm going to try and help you and break it down by day as to what prospects you should be looking out for. Because, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's going to be going around, and I'm sure, like, the viral clips, like if someone can challenge John Ross's 4.24 combine time or a bench press record, that will become very popular on social media. But it's going to be more so what guys are going to test very, very well that might not, break a record and get, the clickbaity national media attention. I'm going to try to bring that to you. So without further ado, stop beating around the bush. We're a minute in. Looking at Friday. Friday is when the on-field drills start. Thursday is when the bench press starts for the offensive line and running back group. The biggest stories for the offensive lineman group, first of all, I think, is going to be Jonah Williams, pretty much regarded as the top tackle. Some say he might be a guard or just in general an interior offensive lineman from Alabama. But I think his measurements are going to be pretty key because there's a lot of people that think he's on that bubble between tackle and guard. And I definitely think he will put up a very, very nice bench press number. So stay on the lookout for that. I'm going to kind of break down every single position into the workout warriors. We're going to have probably about 3 to 4 for each group that's going to go. Guys that I think that are going to test incredibly well. For the offensive tackle spot, I have David Edwards from Wisconsin, Bobby Evans from Oklahoma, Yadnika Just from West Virginia, and Chuma Edoga from USC. I think all 4 of those guys will test very well at the Combine and get a lot of eyes and attention throughout the weekend. In the interior of the offensive line, I have Cody Ford from Oklahoma, Chris Lindstrom from Boston College, Garrett Bradbury from NC State, and Nate Davis from Charlotte as the workout warriors for the interior of the offensive line. Sleepers for the offensive line group, I like to look at Alex Byers from Notre Dame and Tyler Romer from San Diego State. I think both those guys have a lot to gain. As far as the big prediction for the offensive line group when it comes to testing at the Combine for the bench press, who's going to put up the most reps? I personally feel like it will come down to Jonah Williams and Cody Ford and give the slight edge to Cody Ford. Moving on to the running backs, a little bit more exciting. The big question for the running backs, I think, is going to be Rodney Anderson and his medical. Reports only come out that he's just going to do his bench press at the Combine, which kind of makes sense. But what is his medical? Because he's had multiple injuries at Oklahoma, and a lot of people, myself included, think he could be, if he's 100% healthy, the most talented running back in this year's draft class. So his medical will be huge for how his draft stock will be perceived come draft day. Looking at workout warriors at the running back spot, I like Trayveon Williams, Jalin Moore from Appalachian State. He's coming off an injury, Jalin Moore, so I'm not sure yet. Haven't been able to find a report if he's going to test at all the drills, but if he does, look out. And I guess you could kind of call him a sleeper. Justice Hill from Oklahoma State and Karad Higdon from Michigan are going to be my predictions for the workout warriors. 2 sleepers that I'm going to be very, very interested in watching at the running back spot. From an athletic standpoint, we have Tony Pollard from Memphis. He's kind of a wide receiver running back hybrid, and Travis Homer from the U. I think Travis Homer, he is going to be my day 3 steal at the running back spot. I actually can't believe a guy from the U, from ACC, that's really, really good, is getting this little amount of attention. For the big prediction for the running backs, who is going to run the fastest 40? Right now, I'm kind of leaning towards Justice Hill. But, I mean, it could be any of those guys from that workout warriors, or even my sleepers. Tony Pollard has great straight line speed as well. So that is for the running backs. Moving on to what we're going to see on Saturday. We have the quarterbacks, wide receivers, and tight ends. On Friday, these guys do the bench press, but on Saturday, it's going to be them going through the individual drills. For the quarterbacks, really, Kyler Murray's measurements is probably the biggest measurements that we're going to try to find out all weekend. So I think that actually happens on Thursday, which is today. This video should be coming out Thursday. Because, if Kyler Murray is as close to 5'10", and what was he? His reported measurement is 5'9", 185 pounds. That's like what pretty much is going around right now. That is not great. But if he can come in 5'10", like as tall as he can get, it's fine. 5'9", 5'10", somewhere in that range. I think with how today's NFL is working, that is more accepted than any year previous. Now the NFL is moving towards that. But the big thing for me is his weight. You know, he supposedly has bulked up a little bit, but that's, I think, my biggest concern. He's a mobile quarterback. It's like, fine, you know, you can move around the pocket and use your athleticism to compensate for your size. We've seen it countless times before, and maybe Kyler Murray could do it better than anyone's ever done it before, because, I mean, he is slightly smaller and a better athlete than other short quarterbacks like Drew Brees and, like, you know, Doug Flutie way back when. But it's his weight. The fact that, you know, if you're 190 pounds, like guys like Russell Wilson, Russell Wilson's huge. He's jacked. He has massive quads. He's a thick boy. But when you look at someone like Kyler Murray, it's just the frame is so much smaller. So I'm going to be very interested to see in his measurements, and he probably will test, you know, blow the goddamn doors out the place for the on-field drills. But the biggest thing usually for quarterbacks is going through the drills, literally like them throwing to wide receivers. So I'm going to be very interested to see if and when Tyree Jackson from Buffalo and Daniel Jones from Duke throw during the drills, because a lot of their accuracy issues have been under concern. Like we saw last year, Josh Allen. Josh Allen had a huge cloud over his head about his accuracy, and actually looked pretty good. Like, he held his own. Sure, you could see the hiccups and stuff, but he held his own with like the Baker Mayfields and you know, the Josh Rosens of the draft, and that really helped his draft stock. I think guys like Tyree Jackson and Daniel Jones, if they do kind of risk it to show off their skills and where their mechanics are right now at the scouting combine, I mean, it's only going to be good for their stock, I think. Going to wide receivers. All right, so for my workout warriors, I got 4 big ones. DK Metcalf, first and foremost. This guy's a freak of nature from Ole Miss. I think he's, you know, top 5 talent in the draft. We have Andy Isabella from UMass, Parris Campbell from Ohio State, and Mecole Hardman from Georgia. I think all these guys are going to test very, very well in the drills. My sleepers are going to be Emanuel Hall from Missouri and Darius Slayton from Auburn. I think both these guys will test very well, especially in their 40-yard dash times. If I had to predict a winner for the fastest 40-yard dash, I'm going right now, putting all my chips on Andy Isabella. I mean, we saw Denzel Ward be one of the fastest players last year, the cornerback that got picked, I think, at 4 by the Cleveland Browns. And we've seen from track, Andy Isabella has beaten Denzel Ward in the 100 meters. So I'm just gonna gamble on the white guy. You know, I can't wait for Deion Sanders to say something low-key racist, or Steve Smith. Well, I mean, Steve Smith's not that bad, but remember, like last year, Troy Apke from Penn State ran really fast, and then there's that whole awkward, like, he ran how fast? I was like, oh, because he's white. So we'll wait and see what happens there. 3 wide receivers, though, that I have kind of questions about entering the combine at the wide receiver spot. I have Riley Ridley from Georgia, Hakeem Butler from Iowa State, and A.J. Brown from Ole Miss. Those are 3 guys that have a lot of receiving talent, but it's really tough to get a judge on where their athletic ability is. So I think those 3 guys could stand to have the biggest improvement or maybe negative effect to their draft stock, depending on how they perform at the combine. Moving to the tight end position, we got our 4 workout warriors, guys I think are going to excel in almost all their drills. I have Dawson Knox from Ole Miss, Noah Fant from Iowa, Isaac Nata from Georgia, and Caleb Wilson from UCLA. I think all those guys are primarily, you know, one-dimensional tight ends that are maybe not so much Nata. I think Nata has a good refined skill set because obviously, you know, you have to block to play for Georgia. But I think ultimately these guys are going to be viewed as receiving tight ends, which kind of goes into TJ Hockenson. I think TJ Hockenson might not put up freaky numbers, might not put up the fastest 40, but I think from a total effort from across the board and what we're going to see during the drills, I just have a gut feeling, because I personally have had Noah Fant as my number 1 tight end. But I think after this weekend, now seeing all these guys out there, putting all the chips out there on the table, I think TJ Hockenson could emerge as the undisputed tight end 1 from this weekend. I'm going to throw a prediction at what tight end is going to run the fastest 40. Give me Noah Fant all day long. So moving from that to, we have the drills on Sunday. Is going to be the defensive linemen and linebackers. On Saturday, they will be doing their bench presses, but on Sunday will be the on-field drills. For the just general talking points from this group, it's going to be Ed Oliver's measurements. What's his height? What's his weight going to be? Same with Brian Burns from Florida State. What is his weight going to be? That was the biggest concern because he's 225, 230. But a lot of reports right now going around the internet say that he's bulked up to 245. So if that is the case, which will be interesting to see if that's true, will he still have that same bend, that same explosiveness that has him regarded as a top 15 prospect? And I think if he does have that and he's at 245, because this year's draft class is pretty thin at the top end for 4-3 defensive ends, because you know me, Josh Allen, another guy that's in that mix, he's a 3-4 outside linebacker all day long. I think Brian Burns could his stock could skyrocket into a potential top 5 pick if he is 245 and tests well at the combine. But to guess some workout warriors for the interior defensive line prospects, I think Ed Oliver, Rashan Gary, Dexter Lawrence, and Christian Wilkins, all the big names, will test very, very well at the combine. And same pretty much for the edge rushers. Nick Bosa, Brian Burns, Josh Allen. I'm going to throw a low-key one out here, and Porter Gustin from USC. I think those guys from the edge rushing group will have the workout warrior performances that we're looking for, that all you mutt guys are going to be looking for, and hopefully get special cards. I think the fastest 40 time, give me Josh Allen right now, and the most bench press for the D-line group, give me Dexter Lawrence. I think Dexter Lawrence is going to put up huge numbers here at the combine. Question though from the group is Quinnen Williams. It's really, really polarizing right now. Not enough people are talking about how Quinnen Williams was just not a very good athlete coming out of high school, like not good at all. But you look around a bunch of different sites, they have him like at the top of most of the athletic testing spots at the combine. I really do think the tape doesn't lie. There's enough to see with Quinnen Williams that even a terrible combine won't just ruin his draft stock. Like, he's not going to pull like an Orlando Brown, but he's kind of, I have a question and concerns about Quinnen Williams and how he's going to look in these on-field drills. I think he might be slightly disappointing for some people that are hoping for a big day and weekend for Mr. Quinnen Williams. So then moving to the linebacker group, we got 3 guys that I think have a chance to be labeled the workout warrior. Most of them are the big names. We have Devin White from LSU, Devin Bush from Michigan, and Voshan Joseph from my Florida Gators. But all these guys are slightly undersized in your traditional middle linebacker, but you know the way that the NFL is going in 2019, they're pretty much the prototypes. And I'm going to go with Devin White to have a chance to get the fastest 40-yard dash line, because I just think all in all, he is a freak of nature, and he should actually put up, if muscles, because he is absolutely jacked, which don't always translate to good bench press, but I don't think he has the longest of arms either. I could see Devin White having the best 40 and the best bench press from the linebacking group. So then finishing up, we have the defensive backs, corners, and safeties, which will be doing their drills on Monday, but their bench press will be done on Sunday. For the cornerbacks, my workout warriors, we get the 2 top-end guys. I think Byron Murphy from Washington and Greedy Williams from LSU will test well. A little lesser-known guys, we have Kendall Sheffield from Ohio State and Justin Lane from Michigan State. Little people are talking about Kendall Sheffield because he is Ohio State and they've been producing a lot of first-round high-caliber talents at corner, but not enough people are talking about Justin Lane, converted wide receiver from Michigan State. I think all 4 of these guys will light up the combine. I think if I had to give a prediction for who's going to run the fastest 40, give me Kendall Sheffield, who is, a really, really good athlete, not as refined as the last couple first-round high-pick cornerbacks from Ohio State, like Denzel Ward, like Garyon Conley, like Marshawn Lattimore, but still has that great athleticism. The 2 corners that I think have the most to gain or potentially lose this weekend is DeAndre Baker from Georgia and Jojuan Williams from Vandy. Both these guys have a lot of questions about their testing, their athleticism. I think, hopefully, for their sake, because I think both their tapes look very, very fun. They test well and only help their draft stock, but they are on that fine line of it. They run, especially a guy like DeAndre Baker is regarded more so as a for sure first-round talent. If he runs, low 4.5s, that will help him out. But if he runs high 4.5s, being an undersized 5'11", 190 corner, could maybe have him slip into the second round. And then finishing up with the safeties, my workout warriors, we got Nasir Adderley from Delaware, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, converted corner, now just a monster from my Florida Gators, Ugo Amadi from Oregon, and Darnell Savage from Maryland. I had to predict a fastest 40-yard dash time. Give me Darnell Savage from Maryland. Everyone knows I've had him mock to the Eagles. Probably my sleeper safety of the draft. And the big question from the safety group is, how far does Deontay Thompson fall? It looks like he's not going to participate in any of the combine drills. He pretty much was night and day at Alabama. The first half of the season, he looked like bona fide first-round best safety. And then the back end, he was giving up a lot of big plays. A lot of inconsistency concerns have been coming up. And now the fact that he's not going to be able to test, probably got to wait to his pro day. I mean, he could just, fall down people's boards where you still see him as almost the consensus number 1 safety. He could fall behind Nasir Adderley, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Taylor Rapp, like these guys. So that's probably the big question I have from the safety group. But there you go, guys. There is your primer. There is everything you need to know, everything you should try to go to your way to find and watch, and how to watch and what to watch for this upcoming combine weekend. I hope this video has helped you out. If it has, and it got you excited, just a little bit torqued, subscribe if it's your first time stopping by. Smash the like button if you enjoyed the video and you're hyped for the scouting combine. Let me know anyone else that I didn't talk about that you're excited to see for this combine weekend, and I'm sure we'll probably have a nice little recap on Tuesday or Monday night just, kind of breaking down everything that we saw. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.